Welcome to Mac TV, the Mac and Jet Show. Two cool brothers with hot takes, taking on issues today in hopes for a better tomorrow.
Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the Mac TV network channel on all platforms and hit the notification bell to be notified when our new content drops. Now let's jump into the show.
We're here, Mike and Jet, Mac and Jet, Mac and Elder, Mike and Elder, whatever you want to call it. But it's the Mac and Jet Show. We're back again, and we got a dynamic show prepared for you today. Something that we've never dabbled in before, but we're going to do it today. So let's get started. I'm Mac.
I'm Jet.
And this is the Mac and Jet live show. And today's guest is none other than a homie from way back.
Absolutely.
Somebody that you guys will know, a familiar face that you'll know. And it's Mr. Gary Steele.
What's happening? What's happening, everybody?
Where you at now?
I'm back.
You back in town
I'm
with
back.
us?
Don't call it a comeback, but yeah, I'm back.
Don't call it
Yeah, I just came back about 3.5 weeks ago for personal reasons on my wife's side of the family. But nevertheless, man, I'm here.
So we are going to be
back.
engaged with you. And from some of the time that you haven't been with us, you're going to start educating our community on some things.
Absolutely, man.
And I believe that as we get started with this and as you start opening up our minds on this, people will be coming at you. People will be coming at you looking for some information. And so it's going to be good if you want to let everybody know as we go along if you know where you are at on this. Are you an information guy or something we're going to have that people can access? Let us know all that information as we go along.
Absolutely.
All right, Brother Jet, what you got for Mr. Steele?
We just wanted to introduce Mr. Steele to our audience and let people know that he is what I call an authority on cryptocurrency. And we're currently putting together some seminars so that we can educate people on crypto. We have been, the community college has been gracious enough to offer us some space so we can do our thing, the same space they offered the NAACP for Black History Month. So we're going to take full advantage of that and introduce Steele to the community and them to him and everybody to crypto.
Right. Absolutely. Well, yeah, like I said, my name is Gary Steele. Of course, I'm from around the way, North End Projects to be exact. But what I did was I lost out on a couple of things when I started off before crypto. And I ran into a little lump sum and I always wanted to invest. I was told by a friend about Bitcoin. And what I did with Bitcoin is I bought it without education. And I bought a couple of other things without education, your typical ones, Ethereum, Litecoin, the ones that you hear about. And once it hit $20,000 in Bitcoin exactly, hit $20,000 in 2018, I felt like I was the best broker and crypto man in the world, but I was uneducated. And once it went crashing down, I didn't know what to do. I'm running around the house yelling, my wife looking at me like I'm crazy, but then she told me that she knows me and she know I wasn't educated on it, right? So she said, get educated on it because I don't think it's going anywhere. And maybe you should try something called Ripple. Well, what I did was I dug into it. I took away everything that I seen as an activity or an elective for me. That was my beloved Steelers, basketball, anything that you could think of. Anytime that those things came on, I took my time out to read. And I'd done it for like 4 years until I got it. And when it clicked, I felt like I had to get a hold of people that I knew and that I came up with, you understand? So they can be involved as well.
Man, you said a lot in there. You said a lot in there. I'm going to give you a 2 or 3 part question. I'll let you answer it how you want to.
Come on.
First thing I want to know is explain to our audience what crypto is in a layman's term. Is the best way you can just tell us what that is. Mm-hmm. Then the next thing I want to talk about is when you talked about Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. When did you invest in Bitcoin and how much was it when you first invested?
Oh, man.
Okay. And then the third question would be, and however you want to elaborate on it, that is that something that's in you when you talked about you decided that on timeouts for 4 years you was going to study and you did that? Was that different for you in your life, or was there something that made you just really want? Why was this more important than anything else that somebody could do that with? Meaning, make their mind up to do something like that? Kind of a general question.
I'll answer that one first. That one was because I seen something in it. When I was told about it, my very first thing was like money. Oh, Bitcoin is up. Which, when I bought it, for your second question, it was only 1,900 at the time. It was only, and it rose up from then. So there was a run going on at that time I really didn't know about, because I think before then it was only 800. So I got that, and I got like Litecoin, and I got things of that sort at that time. But when everything went crashing down, my determination was like, okay, the little bit of knowledge that I did have, you know what I mean, I hung on to. And I was like, you know what? I missed out on gold. I missed out on Google, you know, and a stockbroker in Florida told me about those two things when I had a lump sum of money in my hand.
Okay.
But me being a young guy, he wanted me to put 90% in. And I'm like, wait a minute, I only get 10% of what I got, and I'm putting 90 into this? But it was Google, and it was gold.
90% of what?
What I had in my hand. He
You mean
wanted me to put
your
in
money?
stocks, my money.
Oh,
He wanted me to put in these stocks. And me
Okay.
being a 29-year-old man,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, 50,
You know?
60-year-old man would think the same thing.
But then I calculated it up before I started studying
Right.
and realized that I missed out on $2.1 million.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, when I looked at the price of Google now and the price of gold now compared to then and what I could have put in.
Yes.
So like when I got the lump sum of money that I got from selling my home in Texas, you know, my wife took care of some things. She gave me that, and she was like, here's another chance for you.
Let me ask you a question about that real quick. So now, in saying that, so you missed out on $2.1 million. So because of that, you studied, you decided to get into crypto, you looked at what you looked at, and you'll tell us about what you're into, I assume, right now. So do you consider yourself now as, I'm not going to miss it again, I'm just waiting for that? I mean, what's your degree of certainty of that now?
Okay.
If you can put it in a percentage or something.
Absolutely. If I would have done it then, I just would have been a kid that believed in someone else that told me what to do.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And not be educated. I would have still been looking at the stock market, hoping that it went up, hoping that it went down. And when it went down, I probably would have took my money out, just like some people do with crypto today that aren't educated.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Probably looking at the same guy to figure out what you should do next.
Exactly. So I'm looking at him as security. So I didn't want to be security anymore. I didn't want to like rely on anyone. I wanted to rely on myself. So I took time out. A lot of friends, a lot of family. I had to just get out of my head for a minute. I had to be selfish. You have to be selfish sometimes to be successful.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have to abolish the negativity and everything. So once I found out, once I got into it and everything like that, I was so certain of the ones that I am into. You know what I mean? And that's not financial advice for anyone. But for me, I'm so certain into the ones that I'm into from what I studied, the facts, figures, numbers, and logic, that I have zero doubt. Yeah.
I got one more question, and I'll shift to Elder Jett, see what kind of questions he has for you. I want to make a statement because that was key. We always have a disclaimer before our shows. However, sometimes I just want to say it. This show is not to give anybody financial
Absolutely not.
Advice, nor are you trying to give anybody financial advice. However, we do got a story to tell. We do have information in our minds. We do have opinions and how we feel about things. So we're going to let people know that. So I wanted to make that statement. And now, and then the question before we go to Elder Jett would simply be, my question that I asked about the certainty of, is there anything in how you move now from missing the 2.1 million because you didn't do something, that there's an expectation to get 2.1 million now because you're educated, you did now invest in whatever you're invested in? Is 2 point, it could be any number, but a number like that, is that the goal? Meaning if you fall, or is that something that, do you have a time limit on getting to there? Like, what is the end game of getting into crypto?
Okay. The end game is what you make it. But personally for me, my end game is to, number one, help the community.
Okay.
That's what I want to do. And that's why I spoke when I found things out. I talked to JJ Slappy.
Right.
I talked to Dawn Carney, who actually got me into crypto.
Okay.
Then I called Jett, and then I called my best friend, my ace, Kevin Williams.
Okay.
I talked to you.
Yes, you did.
I talked to Calvin, my man, brother Keys, Calvin
Yes.
Black. So I got everybody that I felt good around.
Yes.
For me,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? And I was selfish with that too, but I felt like I had the right to be.
Yeah.
Because I'm giving lucrative information here.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I just thought to myself, like, who can I get around where we can be around the table, argue,
For sure.
and come up with something that was stable for our community to have their own ecosystem.
Yeah. Okay.
Along with me being rich, of course, you go into it for like the money, but I always say this: money is going to be in bad hands and good hands.
Mm-hmm.
If you make a lot of it and you know that you're good, get it.
The
Because
rich
you know
part,
what you want to do with it.
unapologetically, the rich part. The reason I say that is that's what most people get into money about in the first place.
Right, absolutely.
What I was just wondering is that something that, if that's what I want to do, is this something I would get into? If I want to make $2.1 million,
I get what you're saying.
like right now, if I wanted to make $2.1 million, the only way I could definitely do it for sure is to take $1 million and flat bet whoever's playing the Lakers.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Well, this is what I'm telling you now. Okay, I get what you're saying. So, with crypto,
We talking crypto. We didn't start LeBron bash.
right?
no, with crypto, I would say I think it was the late 1700s is when the stock market started.
Okay.
Can you imagine getting into something that's even going to be more demanding than the stock market itself? Because the stock market is going to have to get tokenized and put onto a ledger.
No, I can't. So
You understand what I'm saying?
You got a hard job. You got to make me a believer.
Real estate.
I agree.
Everything in the world is going to be tokenized. But when you say, I got to make you a believer, I can,
Mm-hmm.
but they're putting everything right in front of our face. All you have to do is look up tokenization.
Is that right?
What is tokenization? And tokenization is the tokenizing of making digital everything on the planet.
Say that again.
Tokenization,
Is
digitalizing
okay.
everything on the planet. So basically, if you had, for instance, the NAACP,
Yes.
right? The thumbprint of it,
Okay.
everything that it's about
Yes.
will be from the way that it is now
Mhm.
to tokenized, right?
Okay.
So once it gets on this ledger, it's saying this is the Steubenville NAACP.
Mhm.
And what if it's for sale?
Right.
Okay. So there's a certain crypto not a certain crypto company, but yeah, there is a certain cryptocurrency. It's called Property, but it's a real estate business as
Okay.
well. They will take this over. And believe it or not, if someone wants it, the NAACP in Steubenville can be sold
Mhm.
with the title and everything already on the ledger
Okay.
within 15 minutes. Not the 30-day thing.
Tokenization. You talked about the stock market.
Yes.
1700. Tokenization.
Late 1790s, the stock market started.
Okay. When did tokenization start?
It's starting as we speak.
Okay.
They're
so-
starting to tokenize IBM. They're starting to tokenize like
okay.
Bank of America.
I see.
All the institutions are getting tokenized.
Hence the reference to, could you imagine being there at the beginning in 1700 and being a part of something that
Absolutely.
grew to what it is now?
Absolutely.
I see. So being on the ground floor.
I think you were
Right,
saying then
right.
it's going to be even bigger because even that was created in the 1790s is going to become a part of the ecosystem that's happening now.
Yeah. It's
So
going to
it's
be
going to be
tokenized.
the new and the old are all going to be on the ledger.
So, for instance, the what can I say? The real estate market, I believe, is worth like $390 something trillion.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
That all has to get tokenized.
So then, will it be a situation where he said the old and the new will all be together or all available to
Mhm.
some extent? Would that be similar to somebody who says they're in the stocks, and then somebody else says I'm into real estate, and then somebody might say, "Well, I'm into crypto." Is that apples to apples, or is crypto more a replacement of our way of knowing how we deal with what is the stock? It's the stock market,
Mhm.
and what is it? Securities.
It doesn't change.
Commodities.
It doesn't change.
Okay.
You will never know that it happened It's just going to be digitalized.
Oh,
So the way that the money moves is going to be digitalized now. That's all there is to
so
it.
you could be in crypto and still be in real estate. Crypto's not replacing real estate.
No, crypto's not replacing real estate. It's making real estate easier to do. So, say you have a ledger. Let's call it like the Jasmine ledger, which is it's a data token. All the data from title companies and what else is it? The type of loan that you get, like a conventional loan or anything like that. Any thumbprint from Century 21. Like if you want a 30-year mortgage, a 15-year ARM, a 5-year ARM, all that is already going to be documented on there. So when you decide to get your house and you say, I want a 15-year ARM, everything for that 15-year ARM is going to be there.
Explain Ledger.
Ledger is basically a digitalized version of a receipt.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Right? So it's basically that, and that's what blockchain is. It's a digitalized version that can't be hacked of a receipt. So that's why all of these companies trust it, because they know that this blockchain cannot be hacked. They actually have hackathons by the best hackers in the world.
Yeah,
and they can't penetrate it because it's so hard to do. And if you do, the original everyone has, because we're all connected on the blockchain. So if you bought Jasmine and I bought Jasmine and about 20 million people bought Jasmine, that's why it's called a blockchain. Everyone is connected.
Yes.
So if you broke into mine, the other 20 million people have the original. The contracts and everything. So
go into a little bit if you can. Elder Jett talked about the space you guys are going to occupy.
My guy.
Up at Eastern Gate, or Elder Jett, whoever wants to take the lead in explaining what's going to happen there. What can we expect?
So the plan is for us to lay out crypto investing and functionality in a series of seminars, starting with very basic 101
onboarding
and growing, bringing in different speakers from different aspects of crypto, from miners to NFTs to people who create. I bought something called an XBot, and I'm still not sure exactly what my XBot does, but I'm positive that I have it.
That has anything to do with NFTs?
It's an NFT.
It's an NFT. It is an NFT.
Okay. Yeah, it's an NFT. I also just got an NFT from Uphold for being in the XRP army. But so yeah, basically what we're going to do is we're going to do a series of seminars educating people on every aspect of crypto as we know it, from what coins we think are long lasting, what coins you can use as growth vehicles, meaning coins that may not have longevity but may be useful right now to get you from $1,500 to $15,000 in 6 months, and get out and do your long term investing with a bigger nest egg. So we're going to teach all of those things. Still, Mr. Steele knows the functionality of a lot of the coins. Mr. Slappy has a lot of education too. Born Elder is real good with crypto and NFTs.
And I hate to interrupt you too, but along with that, those two guys have a lot of knowledge and what a lot of people are maybe interested in, and that's the metaverse as well. So
yeah, I've heard the metaverse. So let me ask you guys this, and both of you guys can answer this for me. I'm a part of my passion is in teaching, informing, making people aware, because just like you said, a lot of you spent a lot of time and you studied.
Right.
Give me some type of comparison, or talk about you being an expert, walking in the room with Steubenville whenever you guys do this.
Okay.
No different than if you walked in the room, say at some type of seminar at Harvard, and all the big wigs and big guys who've been invented crypto or heads of crypto, what they know compared to what you know. Put the relevance in what's going to happen, because to me, the reason I'm saying this is, man, 101 is going to have to last a long time.
Yeah.
Some of the words you just said and talked about, people can't fathom the plane of what you're talking about.
Right.
We don't understand money as it is.
Right.
We don't understand investing, stocks, commodities, even a regular ledger. of debits, and brother Brandon Crawford had a book.
My man.
And he was talking about assets.
Very intelligent guy.
And
very intelligent young bro
exactly.
right there. Yeah.
But even that, he said and tried to say, he did that for us at somewhat of a layman level.
Mm-hmm.
And even that, for some of us, was way above us.
Well, he reshaped a lot of thinking, because before I read that book, I thought owning a home, the home that you own, was an asset. When I found out it's in fact a liability, because it's something that you have to constantly put money into that doesn't yield any return.
Right.
So let me say this thing. I'm going to use Elder Jett. When you went to Elder Jett, and what he knows now, are you impressed with that? Is that normal?
No, it's not.
Okay, so then we can't all. Okay, so then let's go back to what my thought was.
Okay.
Because, like he said that about the home, but little things, our parents told us that.
Yeah.
How they told us was in various terms. Oh, you gonna go get a car? Who's gonna put gas in it?
Yeah.
So you gotta have a liability. Money gotta come out of something.
Yeah.
What's going when the tires go bad? What's going when it needs a tune-up?
And it almost makes you say, you know what? I don't even want the car.
Which means,
you know what I mean?
Which means you can understand what a liability is,
right,
and what an asset is,
right?
But you didn't know that's what it was.
Yeah.
And so is crypto anyway like that? Is it something that you can? They say, oh, I didn't realize that's what it was. This is all it is, or is it a lot more in depth?
No, it's like one thing that I can tell you is that when I was in West Palm, quick story. I went into a place because once I started understanding things, I was on fire. So I wanted to look up any place that was having a seminar for cryptos. Mm-hmm. So I seen a place in PGA, Florida, right? Okay. So I went there. And when I went there, there was it was an oyster bar. Yeah. So when I went there was all these high class people in the back. And I'm sitting there, I got on sweats. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'm not dressed with the... So I was ready to turn out the door and leave. But I was like, you know what? This is one of those things like, am I going to be who I used to be and just leave? Or am I going to come in here, even though I'm dressed like this, and be educated, right? But when I went in there, I realized they didn't know anything about cryptos. The guy that came in, he said, I only see one face that's unfamiliar in here, but I want to introduce myself. My name is this, and I only want to know about cryptos and the ones that's going to make us rich. Bitcoin, this. And I'm like, what? Yeah. So he asked me what my name was, and I told him I was from Steubenville, Ohio, and everybody was like, Dean Martin, you know how they do. And because it was older, like rich people, you know. Yeah. So I went up there and I said, well, I do have Bitcoin, but I'm also into ones that are kind of going to be more lucrative, where I dollar cost average because the price is so low. Yeah. And I said, I'm not just looking at the fact of being rich, we all are, but I want to know which ones are going to last. And I think I found the ones that were going to last. By the end of that meeting, it was a different storm because I talked about gold, I talked about silver, and I talked about what I was personally invested in. And this goes to show, like, it's the mask that you put on that fits you. I think we talked about this before. Mm-hmm. The mask that you put on that fits you is going to work for everyone else. Okay. Because if someone went on stage, like you said, from Harvard or something like that, I wouldn't get it either. But what I did was, I looked up every, like ledger you said, and things of that sort. I looked up every word I didn't understand so I can keep reading. Is what I did. Looked it up, wrote it down. I did it like I was in college. Right. And I just kept reading and I kept reading. But when I got it, I was like, I'm trying to make examples that somebody like my man Jett can understand if I didn't tell him at first. So when I called him and told him what it was about, he got it, but I didn't think he was going to read it the way he did, because I called the next day and he'd be like, oh, you know, what's his name got hired from Coinbase and he doing this. I'm like, no. I didn't even know that. You understand what I'm saying? So we got to that point, and I believe, well, I know that when I give these seminars, I'm going to be able to give the type of examples that we all can understand. Very layman terms.
I want to leave you, for me, I'm going to dismiss myself from this conversation. Got something to do. I want Elder Jett to continue this because you got a lot of information to give us. First thing is I want to thank you for what you have done already with us in giving us this information, being that you're passionate about it, you care about it.
Absolutely.
You gave it to us for free. You gave it to us, just said, this is what you do. This is what you guys should do. So I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you for saying that you want to come back here educate the rest of our community.
Oh man.
And so here on Peace, Knowledge, and Wisdom, and also the Mac and Jett Show, our whole goal is to uplift this community.
Oh man.
Our whole goal is to uplift this community.
Yeah. Well, that's why I asked. That's why I asked to be on the show.
Oh, and
I had a couple offers to be on a couple people's like podcasts.
Oh, okay.
Can't lie about that. But I was like, my man Mac and my man Jack got me, and I called you. Remember I called you on the phone? And I said, I want to be on here because
I appreciate that.
the audience that I want to reach is here.
And
So,
I hope that means we can, us fans, put it in your comments, Elder Jett, hopefully, we're going to strong arm you because we want you back at least 3 more times.
You ain't got a strong arm, nothing,
All right,
man.
good
You
deal.
know I'm
So
going to
you
be
guys
here.
heard it. You guys heard it. So I'm going to leave you with this
So
question.
we're going to listen.
Yes.
And what we're going to do after when we'll wrap it up with your exit, because what we wanted to just use this opportunity to make people aware of what was to come.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we
The
don't
seminar.
want to get long and drawn out with it.
Okay.
Well, we'll have your question. I have one question, and then
Okay.
we can we'll share. We'll be looking forward to sharing information about upcoming seminars and future broadcasts.
Absolutely.
We're going to wrap up here soon.
Then I just want to say this in the way that I hear it, see it, and the way that I think a lot of us, I try to speak for those layman folks, those people who, why can't we do these kind of things?
Mm-hmm.
And the big word, the elephant in the room, is trust.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that the average person won't have that I have as it relates to you is family, friendship.
Absolutely.
I know your character.
Mm-hmm.
I know the amount of integrity you have. You have a wife. You raised you and her as a family. I know you.
Yeah.
So in order to trust you, I also got your ear a little often. It's going to be easier for me to trust than maybe the average person.
Mm-hmm.
However, that shouldn't be what stops us, because we'll miss out if we wait for somebody to have the same relationship I have maybe with you, who's going to be the delivered information. But I like the way you talked about the study that you've done.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us about how much of this is about trust. Meaning, I'm going to take my money and
Mm-hmm.
put it in crypto. Why? If I don't know as much as you,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
why would I do that other than I'm trusting that you or whoever I hear it from?
Mm-hmm.
You told me something that was very powerful. You said, well, you don't have to really trust me or listen to me. Google this.
Mm-hmm.
Why would Chase
Yeah.
or something like that?
Why would Bank of America have a
analogy.
partnership
So,
with them?
So
Why would-
elaborate
absolutely.
on the trust factor. Why should we kind of be willing to not get over the trust factor,
Mm-hmm.
but be lenient and allow the trust to build? How will that build? How's that?
Well, like I said earlier, it's like, number one, it's studying. When I found the coins that I was looking for, I studied them, and at the end of it, you have to. What I did was, I was like, okay, who created the coin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who did they work for before?
Okay.
You know what I mean? What was the other thing? Who did they work for before was very, very prominent. Like that was one of my biggest things. Like, who did they work for before, and why are they doing digital? Because 99% of these cryptos are going to leave us. They're going to be gone, right? Period. After regulations come, everything is about tokenization and regulations. So you have to know what you hold. And if you know what you hold, it's because that you studied everything that you were supposed to.
And that's what I would tell Mr. McIntyre, and that's what I would tell anyone that's looking into invest in anything. Do it based on your own research,
Right?
And not and first thing you need to understand is you're not buying anything from me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm telling you what I have bought from me, and then you can do your research and see if that you should also buy it for you.
Right.
So that would eliminate the trust would be only as long as your trust of your own research.
Right. At the end of the day, that's exactly what it is, and that's what it was for me. And the lucrative part, I had my ups and downs with it, but I still trust it. Nothing happened yet. And this is what I'm trying to tell people. You can't worry about the price going up and down on something that hasn't even started yet.
I'm still up.
We are so early. I'm still up too, because I was in early.
I'm up good.
But this is what I tell people though. I say, are you going to worry about like the $200 that you put in to get 1,000 right now when it's like 60 cents or whatever?
Right.
But when you look 2 years down the line, it's like $8, $10. you can't look at right now because nothing's started yet.
And also you can't invest anything that you're not willing to lose.
Absolutely.
I didn't bet the farm on this. I poured into it as I could. I continue
dollar cost average.
Continue to pour into it as I can, but I'm still can maintain my lifestyle without this. If it disappears, it'll just be I'll be disappointed, but I won't be affected.
Come on, same here, same here. But like I said, you got to know what you hold, and one thing for sure, I know mine ain't disappearing.
What I did want to ask you though, what my question was is I know you said you got into this investing in Bitcoin, and that you still to some level have some Bitcoin. How do you feel about Bitcoin? Not compared to how you felt then, but where does Bitcoin rank for you, and how useful is it today?
That's a good question. One thing about, I will always have respect for Bitcoin because it was the first. I will always have respect for Bitcoin because it was the first. And with that being said, Bitcoin was supposed to do what the coin that I'm into is contracted by the government for, right? Okay. But Bitcoin is a great store of value. When I got into
when you say store of value, you put that. Make that plain, so that somebody who doesn't know anything about crypto or investing or anything, the store of value will be what will be a real world comparison.
I got you. It's almost like putting your money into gold or silver. Okay. It's a safe place when everything is crashing.
So it's not. So what you're saying is when I invest into gold, I'm not investing into gold for the gold to actually do anything. I'm investing into gold so that the money that I've invested into the gold stays secure. I know that this $15,000 that I've invested in the gold, when I go back, it's still going to be $15,000. It's not volatile.
The stability of it. Okay. And the crazy part about it is another thing that a little nugget I'm gonna give, no pun intended, is that gold and silver just became tier 1 assets about 2 months ago, which means that they are equivalent to like money now again, So I don't know what's going to happen with that, but my theory is they're going to reevaluate them both because the dollar is crashing, and that's how you'll be able to save the economy because they always go back to God's money when there's a crash, and God's money is silver, gold, things of that sort. So when they go back to that, they'll put the dollar at the value of that. And I'll give you another nugget too. Oil. We get our oil from Kuwait. Kuwait is, they have to trade the dollar in with everyone's currency. They have to switch it to the dollar in order to buy oil. Well, Kuwait just went to the BRICS nation. Okay. So what that's saying to me is, personally to me, and you can look this up, is that they're waiting on the dollar to crash. The dollar is now the number 10 currency ranked. United States went from a AAA+ country, if you want to do like a Better Business Bureau type thing, a credit score, to a AA+. There's something going on.
Right.
There's something going on. For the first time in a long time, this happened. So that's not to persuade anybody to get into anything. I just know that you got to have a backup plan. And you have to go to a go-to, and that's mine.
What I want people to understand that it's strictly educational, because when I advise you, and I'm not saying I'm giving financial advice. That's not what I'm doing.
Absolutely not.
But when I make a recommendation based on what I'm doing myself, there's nothing in it for me for you to do it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I just feel it's just something I think you should know.
Right. Well, and that's another thing too. I'm glad you said that because when I was giving the seminars in West Palm Beach, right, the people who I wanted to get through to didn't listen.
Man,
you understand what I'm saying?
Last year at this time, man, I was in Florida.
Uh-huh. And that's it. We were in Florida. Yeah. But they didn't listen. But the people who had, who were up there, they understood how money flowed. So they understood where I was going, and those are the ones that sent me like the good reviews and everything. But the other people was like, yeah, I'm gonna look into that, and I never talked to them again. Or every time I seen them, they would bring up another subject or act like they didn't see you. But the ones with you know how you say the haves and the have-nots.
Mhm.
You know, I say the haves and the almost have-nots. You know what I'm saying? So like the have, they would come to me and be like, oh, I did that. I went overseas the other weekend. They're already using QR codes to spend money. And this was like 6 years ago, right? This was like 5-6 years ago. They was telling me that they was going over there and people were already using that. A guy from Australia wanted to come here to Steubenville 5 years ago and start mining because he knew I told him the electric was cheap and things of that sort. He was trying to do it in Florida. I was like, dude, for the electric? I said, nah. And he wanted to fly all of his grids and everything down there to here to do that. But something fell through with that. But he's doing very well. He's still a friend of mine on Facebook. So I just advise people, if you don't want to listen to someone that's like still working and things of that sort, just because you see what they're doing and stuff like that, sometimes that's the best information you can get, you know, because they want to be out of the same situation that you're in. You know what I mean? Sometimes people do know a lot that are just like you. Just understand that.
The thing that surprises me about people's reluctance to accept crypto is that they have fallen in love with the concept already. People love Cash App.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I can just pick up my phone and give you money. So that's the concept of digital currency. It's just when you try to turn that transaction into physical money, you'll find that it takes a little time.
Yeah.
And what cryptocurrency is going to do is eliminate that time.
The middleman.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you said that with Cash App, because one of the main things with crypto, listen close, is going to be something called interoperability. So I have Venmo, right? He has Cash App. What if I'm trying to send him money? What's he going to have to do? He's going to have to download Venmo, isn't he? Well, there's another crypto that's going to cause the interoperability where you won't have to do that anymore. So Zelle, everything. It's almost like, well, it's just like me having an iPhone, you having an Android, you having an LG, but we can all send each other a text message, can't we?
Sure.
Right? We can all send each other pictures, you know? So money is going to flow the same thing. Why is data so easy to get and fast to get now, but money isn't? Like you go to a restaurant, right? And you give them the receipt. The receipt is saying that you're good, but the restaurant isn't for another day or two. So on-demand liquidity is going to make everything move faster to stimulate the economy because it's going to be cheap, it's going to be fast, and it's going to be eco-friendly. So when you look at these coins, one thing to look at is eco-friendly ones. That's another nugget I'm going to give you. But fast, cheap, efficient. That's what you want. And you always want to know who's running it because there's scams and everything. And I'll repeat like I did earlier, 90% of these cryptos, there's 25,000 of them, I do believe, will be gone. Will be gone. So if you're depending on stuff like, I'm not going to say any names of coins, but the BS coins that's out there. If you're depending on those to like last after regulations, you got another thing coming. So you have to know what you hold. And that's why we're going to have this seminar.
Yeah. So listen, we've taken up enough of your time, man. I want to thank you.
Oh, man, too easy. You already know.
Make sure you tune in. Everybody tune in to the Mac and Jett Show, as well as Peace, Knowledge, Wisdom here on Mac TV. We'll be putting out flyers and notifications about the upcoming seminar. So share, and reach out to us. We'll be reaching back out to you. Thank you for tuning in. We love you. Peace.
Peace.